Hey everybody, this is Rynetemp from RT World Tanks Guidance. Now today I'm starting something a little different. Instead of just talking about general strategies of the game, I'm starting a video series about World of Tanks tanks called the Arsenal. In this video series I'll talk about the specific strengths, weaknesses, and strategies for each tank rather than talking about the general strategies you should use. Like, it is true that some tanks don't exactly work with the general strategies, and it's good to get insight on each tank in a more of a unique way. So today I'll be starting with the British tank destroyer tree. It's pretty new, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I think I'll start my video series with this. I'm excited about it. Other people are excited about it. And I want to see how it goes. So I just started up. Guys, I just want to say sorry I haven't been able to upload this earlier. I was thinking of starting this video series a lot earlier, but well, earlier on this week I was trying to upgrade my graphics driver, and the graphics driver gave me a lot of problems. It kept on blue screening on me, so I had to restore my computer, reinstall some stuff. Gave me a lot of trouble. This is the AMD 13.1 driver. There is no hate in this speech I'm giving right now. I'm just saying, sometimes this tends to happen. I'm not mad. I'm just a bit frustrated because I wasn't able to get this right. I'll just wait for AMD to resolve this issue. But for now, I'll make do with a video. So yeah, I'm not really angry with this. I'm just a bit frustrated. But now finally, I'm pretty happy that I'm back on track and I can upload some videos. Something I like doing. Alright. So now we're taking a look at the British tank destroyer tree. This is the first in all the tank destroyers on the British line. It's called the Universal Carrier 2-pounder. This is what the research tree looks like. You start out with the track of the Universal Carrier Mark 1, the Ford V8 221 engine, the WS number 14 radio, and the QF 2-pound AT gun Mark IX. Speaking of the research tree, I found there was something really weird about this. As we look at the stock gun, these are decent for a tier 2, I guess. 64 penetration, 45 damage, and .38 accuracy is pretty good for a tier 2. Tier 2 guns tend to be a little bit on the inaccurate side, regardless of the nation that you're on. Look at the other guns are a bit weird. Look at this upgrade gun, 0.5, and the penetration is just 45. This has, for this tier, this is worthless accuracy, worthless penetration. We move on to that. This still has sort of crappy specs. This gun, I don't know why. Personally, I think they're not as good as the stock gun. The stock gun has a very much better rate of fire. These guns have bad penetration compared to this, which is not good if you're up against tier 3s or tier 4s, which have quite a bit of armor compared to you. These do have better damage stats, but they're not enough to offset the fact that they have horrible accuracy and mediocre penetration compared to the stock gun. So I would not recommend upgrading the guns. They're just not worth it. At this tier, you really shouldn't be trying to upgrade everything. You should really only upgrade to something if it will carry on in later tiers. Like the Valentine AT, this only costs 1,050 experience to research. That is really cheap. I'm already pretty much halfway there, and I've barely played this tank. So, yeah, you shouldn't really be that serious about upgrading to everything in this tier. You have to concentrate on getting to the next tank, unless of course one of these carries on to the next tank. So That's what the research tree looks like. To give the specific stats to the vehicle, hit points, 120 hit points. In my opinion, this is okay for this tier. 85 horsepower. This looks a little bit deceiving, but this tank goes very fast and it's very maneuverable, judging by the traverse speed, speed limit, and personal experience through playing this tank. However, to note, it has worthless hull armor, so tank destroyers can also function as an assault gun, where you sneak around in the front lines and take shots at frontline fighters. But no, you cannot do that in this tank. Specifically, also because it's an open top tank, you just get destroyed if you get shot. You can get one-shotted by tier 4s in this tank, and you'll be up against tier 4s once in a while. So yeah, and tier 3 shots to you will just be crippling to your health. So you want to avoid that, and you often get a fair bit of crew deaths because it's got a big open section here. There's no walls or anything. There's no walls of armor protecting the crew from anything else. Other than that, I'm not sure if this works or not, but oh wait, it probably won't. For a bit, I thought this was like spaced armor or something, as like a spaced visor, but actually I found that they're not driving in there. The driver and the machine gunner and the viewer are up here, and the firing crew is back here. So that's how it works. Don't get to see that is not spaced armor. For a bit, I did think that was spaced armor, and it is not. So this armor is nearly worthless. For the damage and rate of fire and the gun traverse is actually fairly good. And view range and signal range are alright for this tier. I wouldn't consider those stats too shabby. It's just the armor that I don't particularly like. I'm gonna do another thing that's part of this video series. I'm going to compare it to other tank destroyers of this tree. Got the T-18, one of my favorite tank destroyers of this tier. The Panzerjäger 1, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit freezing. The Renault FTAC, the AT1, and the Chinese does not have a tank destroyer tree. So continuing on, let's compare them to the other tank destroyers in other nation trees. I just want to say that for this, I forgot to mention before that it's a very good speed, very maneuverable. You can get to good sniping spots very quick. So that's just something to note there. First, I'm going to compare it to the T-18 tank destroyer from the American tech tree. First of all, I have to note that T-18 has an overkill armor for this tier. It is overpowered, honestly to say. The gun is fairly good also. I remember killing lots of other tanks with this pretty easily. And the accuracy is decent for this tier, so I'm alright with it. I have to say I did like playing the T-18. The T-18 also has comparable speed, although the maneuverability is nowhere as good as this. You can tell that by both personal experience and traverse speed. The traverse speed of this is only 28 degrees per second, while the traverse speed of the Universal Carrier 2-pounder is 36. So one thing to note, the Universal Carrier 2-pounder has a much better maneuverability by both stats and in-game. In terms of gun damage and stuff, the T-18 does have better upgraded guns, but the gun damage is about the same. I wouldn't blame any of these tanks too hard for somewhat low gun damage, because all of them have already above average tank gun damage, so I'm fine with the damage in this tier. So, but personally, I would say I enjoy the T-18 a bit more than the UC2. Universal Carrier 2-pounder. Take that out of the equation. Let's compare it to the Renault FTAC. Renault FTAC, it's slow. It's on the slow side of things. Like even though the T18 had much better armor, it was much faster than this. This is slow. 21 kilometers for such a light little tank. I remember the Renault FT was also a bit slow as well. So since it's pretty much like adapting the Renault FT chassis to a tank destroyer, it will have similar speed stats. Hit points are about the same. Everything else is more or less the same, I'd say. Well, one thing is the same is that you see a gun shield since they're both open top ones, unlike the T18 which are the closed one. Like the gun shields on these things are paper. Like it penetrates, you get damage. Like it pretty much means that both of these cannot function as frontline assault guns. I forgot to mention, but the T18 can function as a pretty effective assault gun simply due to his armor. Tier 1s and even tier 2s will have some trouble in penetrating its frontal armor. So it also functions as a great sniper or assault gun. Yeah, this is one thing that prevents either of these from functioning as assault guns. They're open top and they have paper gun shields. This does have slightly better hull armor, but it's still pretty easily penetrated. Well, it's not worthless. Like this is worthless. 10-7-7. 16-16-16 is okay for this tier. It will block some things, but you'll still get penetrated and get hit. Like this will block nothing. Real FTAC, I think enjoyment level is about the same. Like I like these both probably equally. I don't have a preference over either of these. Like I can't say which one is better. They're both about the same. Next up we have the AT1. First note, it has better hull armor. 5 hit points doesn't really count for anything, I don't think. It is a little bit slower, not as much as the Renault FTAC, but this has okay speed. The maneuverability is okay as well. Only thing I have to say to this is that the gun has bad accuracy from when I had played. And like this is this tank destroyer is converted from a T26 tank chassis. You gotta keep that in mind. The chassis works very similarly. Although even though armor is pretty much average for this tier, you see your front how it has that slope. You actually be able to bounce some shots from that surprisingly. Here, nah, no chance of bounce. Yeah. So this armor does count for something, but it isn't like the T18, which can actually function like a assault gun, so that's excellent front armor. Like this, even though it'll bounce some shot, like this only works in circumstances. You know what I mean? Like it's just something really situational in which like you got a good angle and someone's shot bounces off of you. Other than that, guns or damage and penetration and rate of fire are pretty much the same. I just have to say I don't like the accuracy of the AT1. The accuracy does get a little better later on the Russian tree. So, done with that tank. Finally, I have to compare it to Panzerjäger 1. Remember playing the Panzerjäger 1? I did in fact enjoy this tank quite a bit. The 5mm L60 is an excellent gun for this tier. It has excellent upgraded guns. The upgraded guns have excellent accuracy. I personally think I like this quite a bit. The gun shield on this I find actually manages to block some things, unlike the paper gun shield on this. The gun shield on this is actually okay. It's got a fair slope in front, as you can see there. You might be able to bounce some shots, like don't count bouncing something from a tier 3 or tier 4. Like, maybe from a tier 2 and you have really nicely sloped armor. Like, well, not slope, but if you angle it really nicely, you might be able to bounce something. It's got a modest amount of speed. It's better than AT1. It's not as much as this, but it's good. It has a fair bit of maneuverability as well, and the gun traverse is pretty good. Overall, I'd say I still enjoyed the Panzerjäger 1 a lot more than the UC2. Let's call it this the UC2 for now, the Universal Carrier. So yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit more than this. Like, personally, just to say, I haven't enjoyed this tank that much. Like, I think it's sort of a grind. Now the Valentine AT coming after this is a very good tank, from what I've heard. You just have to wait until I grind up to that. But I can't believe I said grind. Like, I know I seem to get killed a fair bit in this tank simply because the gun's not that good. Well, only the stock gun is good. Like, the upgraded guns are just crappy compared to the stock gun, with worthless accuracy and worthless penetration. But this is sort of a hard tank to play at the beginning. You will get used to it eventually. And for its research, just to say again, you shouldn't really research all of these unless it carries over. Try to get to Valentine AT as quick as possible. So that's pretty much my advice for you. Don't think you really have to upgrade the tracks or the engine. The tracks, like, you're keeping your gun, so I don't see a point in upgrading that for the upgraded guns. Radio, it's fine for now. I guess I'll upgrade those later, but I don't usually upgrade radios first. Like, I usually choose to upgrade guns and the tracks first and engine, and radio usually comes last for me. Like, usually stock radios work for me for quite a bit, but other than that, they should be upgraded in the end. If you know what I mean. Anyway, also at this tier, you don't really need to train any crew. You can just be fine with a 50% crew. Like, I'll just say though, starting at about tier 5, I'd say you should be training your crew to 75%. If you're willing to spend the gold, go ahead for the 100%. But yeah, you should start getting trained crews starting here. Like, you will notice that there is an increase in accuracy with a better gunner, fire rate with a better loader and stuff. Like, you want to get the trained crews at tier 5. Before that, 50% crews will do. So that's what I have to say about the crews. Other than that, I think I've covered everything about this tank that I can cover in the garage. Its research tree it's straightforward, but the guns, I said a bunch of crap about the guns so much. That's how much I hate the gun on this. Like, it's just so bad. So anyway, let's get a game with this. See if I can get a good one. Here are mines. I usually skip that waiting the lobby for you guys, because sometimes the wait is a little bit long and it sucks just to watch a loading lobby for such a long time. So yeah, this location I seem to do fine. Like, see a hill I'm pointing over there, I can get there pretty quick in this tank and take out a few people advancing from there. I can infiltrate to the enemy base pretty easily. You always try to find where you do your best in each map.
Let's go.
Like I said, it takes some time for it to accelerate. Fairly maneuverable, and can go up to a good speed. Not as good as light tanks though, but still, this is fairly decent speed. I'm not gonna complain about it. No, definitely not. Got some buddies coming with me. A T-18. Let that T-18 stay in front. Soak up some damage. Got some intruders detected already. Alright. Sorry, I have to record at sort of a low frames. Like, if I record at high frames, like, it'll eat up all my hard drive space. It'll take an eternity to upload. See if I can get a shot on this guy. They're still there. Even when someone disappears, they're gonna be still there for a bit. I usually take a few shots there. And I guess they're gone now. Stop shooting there. Oh, they're still there. Yeah, I did damage the lick tracker over there. What else? Oh, I get a shot. Yeah, I actually got that. So this has fairly good accuracy for this tier. I missed him. Alright, let's wait for him. I know I have to camp. Like, camping is so new, but the thing is, with this tank, if you go out, you get shot a few times, you will die so easily. So, I guess this is the best I can do for now. I don't want anybody to just shoot me. That tank's coming over here a bit. Like, right now, if I were in a medium or heavy tank, or at least a tank that shows good armor, sneak out over at where I'm pointing right now. I kill them, but unfortunately, can't risk it with the crappy armor values. Let's see, he's coming out. T1, E6. Oh, no, that's M2, right? Oh, too late. It's behind the hill. There's a cruiser too. I'm just trying to deal with things there, so I think I'll sneak up behind that cruiser too. Wait, it's coming around. I'll try to shoot it from here. How did I miss? Got destroyed by a T2. That T2 light is going crazy. Pinky Whiplets. Somebody knows how to play. And this new game. Well, this new map. Like, the game's not new, but just this map, this newbie map. I hope I can make it for some base cap points. Don't want to be late for that. Come on. I think 8.0 physics is just more of an obstacle than a benefit to this game. Sometimes, like, I'm just mad that I can't travel at my 40-kilometer top speed. Missed some capture points. I got pretty good experience and money for that. That's what I get. Got 2,604 credits and 372 experience. Alright. Wasn't too shabby. I think that game showed off this tank pretty well. In the beginning, I did get to that spot on the hill pretty quick in order to get the sniping spot. That is a benefit of the fast speed and maneuverability of this. So it gave me an advantage in getting to that sniping spot really quick. This gun has reasonable accuracy, 0.38. It will hit a fair bit of your shots, but like from when I did at the up close of that Cruiser 1 at the other hill, like that was in front of the hill I was on, I missed at such a close range. Like, that must have just been really bad luck. So, yeah. And I'm blaming 8.0 physics for not allowing tanks to go into their top speed so easily anymore. Like, before the physics update, you get your top speed so easily. Not kidding, like top speed all the time in the Panzer 3, Panzer 3A. But not because of physics, so it ruins that. Although you do get a drive around hills, like, I guess that from the developer's perspective, 8.0 did. The 8.0 physics did do more benefit than harm. So, that's about it. Like, I think that game showed off this tank destroyer really well. Continue on from going to the hill really quick. I also got a few good shots on those tanks coming on to the other hill. Like, they were infiltrating. I managed to get some shots on them. Like, you saw that I couldn't go down and sneak behind them because if I got shot, I could got killed really easily. Like, you saw that T-18 going down there, just like bulldozing them. Yeah, like T-18 since it has the good armor, it can take the risk and it can sneak up and take it out, just like it did with that Cruiser 1 on the other hill. Snuck up behind it, took it out. Like, pretty much my front armor is like that T-18's back armor. Pretty much, so yeah, like it's like going backwards to face your enemy. Not too happy about the armor. You can't infiltrate without getting killed really easily, and with your low amount of HP, you just die. So I guess that's all I have to say about this tank. This is Rynetemp. See you for the next episode in the arsenal. Bye bye. Hope you subscribe, comment, and like this video. That really supports me. Give me a thumbs up. Go to my channel, subscribe. I made my channel look really nice now. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.